have seen how we can deploy the app service by first creating the web app in portal and how we can push it from an ASP.NET web application in Studio. Now, what if the developer does not have direct access to the Studio? What is in such kind of cases is the option? There are multiple options, but first, suppose the app service is already created. The IT guy would log on to portal and create the web app, basically app service web app, and he will say get publish profile. This publish profile, I am saving it here on my local machine, but otherwise this profile is then supposed to be shared with the developer. And of course, he is supposed to have the username and password. What he will do is, he will come to Studio and he'll use the option create a new profile, import profile, and select that file which was downloaded. Publish settings will be there in this file. Now at the time of publishing, it would ask him for the username and password which he has to provide. But he may not have direct access to the complete portal. And he may have permission only for that particular app service. So that is going to be authenticated and you are then ready to publish. But of course, now you'll have to change the profile. DSS demo service FTP access. So there will be some FTP username and password. How to create that, I'll show you. FTP username and password, that is going to be used for publishing. Now on the same machine, it will not ask you for that username and password. But if you are doing this profile publishing on a different machine, then it will ask you for username and password. Because it was downloaded on this machine only, it will not ask. But on a different machine, it will ask. Why so? Here you see, under properties, we will have the profiles created. This is a web deploy profile which was created earlier. And you see, there will be password here, but that will be encrypted. Oh, there is no password at all. At least you will find it in FTP. Not even encrypted. It's directly given. This is supposed to be your FTP username and password. Saved password. Okay, it's already saved on this machine. That's why it was not asking. So somewhere in your local registry, the password is already available and hence it is not asking. But otherwise it will ask you. You should try this on a different machine. I cannot give that demo. But yes, if you have two machines, download on one machine, use on another machine the same profile and publish. Just a dialog box will come where you have to provide the username and password, and thereafter it gets saved permanently on your machine. One time, that is also. Now it's published. As usual, it's publishing. Now this is one option. Alternatively, what you can do is, you can publish the whole site locally first. Right click here. I have to wait for this to finish, but in the meantime, let's go to portal. How to get the FTP username and password? For that, go to deployment. You have to go to deployment center, and there are a lot of deployment center options. You have to scroll and choose FTP here. There are a lot of options. I'll show you a couple of them. There is FTP. Use an FTP connection to access and copy app files. Click on this. And here you can provide credentials. Username and password you can provide. So let's say Sandeep Soni is the username. I give some password. And I save the credentials. Now, once you have saved this, you can use any FTP client to publish your site now. So go to something like FileZilla if you have, or for that matter, let me do it in the Explorer itself. So what I'll do is copy this FTP endpoint. Now I can take it from here, or I can go to overview, and from overview I can pick it up. You have this FTP host name. So preferably select FTP yes, copy it, put that in the Explorer as it is. It will ask you for the username and password. Now you have to be careful. The username is supposed to be in this format. Whatever is your app service name slash the username which we gave in that credential window. Copy this, paste here, and of course whatever password you have provided. Now you get FTP access to that site. Now you do drag and drop of your content from your local machine into the specified folder. We connected. You'll have to go one level deep. Basically you have to go to site, and under site you can go to www root and deploy your content on this location. You can simply do a drag and drop all your files in this folder. Say for example, I just drag and drop demo and put here this is a demo. Save this. Copy, Control C, and I paste here. It's uploaded. Go to the site, give here /demo.txt, and we get that content. It can be HTML file, it can be any file actually. So this is in case you have only FTP access. Publish profile can be used, or of course you have the option of using FTP credentials. Any one of these two can be used for publishing the website. In real time, in production, you may not actually use File Explorer. You might probably Windows Explorer or any other File Explorer. You might use some tool, something like FileZilla you can use, which is free and very popular FTP client for uploading the content to the server. And you can also get the profile. I have shown you through PowerShell. Right now, sorry, I have shown you through Portal. Right now, we have not got any knowledge on PowerShell, but the document is here. The documentation about how to get the content from PowerShell command also is here. You may come back to this particular document and refer to it later once we understand a little bit of PowerShell. But after through PowerShell, when you connect, you can execute this command to get the publish settings file. Then you can also deploy a website by first moving the content into some shared drive like Dropbox, or it can be OneDrive, or it can be GitHub. Some shared drive you publish the content into, and from there the content will get downloaded into the website. How do we achieve this? The same steps. First, you need to log on to your Dropbox account. Actually, let's not even log in from here. From the portal itself, let's do it. So I again go back to deployment center. Choose the way I want to deploy. GitHub, Bitbucket, local Git, OneDrive, Dropbox. You see, I'm already logged in actually here. In Dropbox, I'm already logged in. So sometime before, maybe I've already logged in, and that's why it is showing up here. So just go to this account. Preferably, I'll say change account. Give my username and password. Say continue. Now in Dropbox, we have to connect our web app to one folder. What is that folder name we have to give here? You can either choose an existing folder name, or by your web app name, a new folder will get created. It's your choice. So I'm creating a new folder and we are done. Now go to Dropbox, log on to Dropbox. You have the folder here. Just go to that folder. Drop your content here, maybe the same file or maybe a different file. Demo2.txt. Drag and drop. Like this, the whole content can be dragged and dropped. But is by dragging and dropping here my site connected? Let's see that first. Now if I change here to demo2.txt, it's not there. So by just putting a file in Dropbox, we did not get the content in our website. So now we go to our website once again, and here we will say sync. We have to use this option sync. Now when you click on sync, now Azure will go to Dropbox and pull the content from Dropbox into your website. It has pulled all that content from the Dropbox. Now if I go to the portal, go to the website, execute, I get it. So how is this working? Developers or maybe the test guys or the DevOps guys, whoever, they are going to deploy the website into Dropbox. They are going to move the website into Dropbox. Now somebody who has access to the portal will first connect the web app to the Dropbox by using deployment center, and then he will have to sync it. Obviously first time when you do it, automatically it will sync, but thereafter it is manual sync. Very important. We have already connected, so we don't need this. Now something you should very well know, because now your deployment center is connected to Dropbox, at the same time you cannot also connect to another source. Only one thing you can connect to at a time. So you may want to disconnect from here and reconnect to something else if you want. You can connect to any one of this again. So let's say if you want to connect to OneDrive similarly, you should say authorize. Your credentials will be accepted, and then you're now connected to OneDrive. Not authorized. Something wrong going on. Something is wrong in this. This is actually the new interface. This is the old traditional one which was working perfectly fine before. So you go to deployment options. They have changed it to now deployment center. Deployment options. Choose here OneDrive. Authorize. Click on OK. Both are ultimately same, just that the UI has changed, the interface has changed. I'm now connected. You can include performance test also. Basically, you can decide how much load should be created. But for this, it is going to automatically create a DevOps account. Something like a Visual Studio, a VSTS account it will create actually for you. So in background, it's doing it automatically. And here you can specify what should be the load generated and for how much time. It's creating the account for the first time. That's why it is taking time. Second time onwards, it will use that existing account only. The portal will automatically create your account in the DevOps site of Microsoft. It will be something like on your name.visualstudio.com. Something like I have created sandeepsoni.visualstudio.com. But like that, you can also go to visualstudio.com and create your DevOps account. So same thing it is doing now in background. It's taking time. So once that is done, I'm just cancelling it. Once that is done, you click on OK. Every time you deploy, it will do a performance test in background. And only when the performance test succeeds, your site content will be fetched into from Dropbox, it will be fetched into your website. Otherwise, it will not be fetched from the Dropbox into the Dropbox into the website. OneDrive, sorry. From the OneDrive into the website, it will not be fetched otherwise. So this is working fine still, but they are probably migrating to deployment center. Looks like some issue is there. It is not automatically accepting the password. So is the case with rollback option here. When you choose deployment option, disconnect from here. Disconnect now from OneDrive, let us say. And when you connect to Dropbox, it gives you the option where you can enable rollback. That means after it has pulled the content, it is disconnected now. Just change and come back. Enable deployment rollback. You see this option? You have to enable this. Now once you enable deployment rollback, the advantage is you can go back to the previous deployment if you find something is wrong with the new deployment. Go to the deployment options. Now when you sync it, the previous one is still pending. But this is going to be removed very soon. But still somehow they have to improve this first. Sync it once again so that okay guys, you take care of this. I have to make the change, I have to sync again, and then after that here we'll get the option activate or something like that, redeploy, you see. So this content will get redeployed. You can roll back. You every time you sync, the list keeps going, and you can put a check mark. You can click here and say redeploy. That content comes back into the site. So that is the advantage with Dropbox. Each one of them have their own ways of doing it, but in all cases, the procedure is common. You first move the content into the shared drive, and from there you sync it into the Azure App Service web app. Again, I repeat, from the local machine, on-premise machine, you first move the content into the shared folder, shared drive. That shared drive can be any one of those options which I have shown to you. Try other options, they are very similar. It can be GitHub account also. It can be direct DevOps also. So basically we are creating a pipeline between the shared GitHub, Bitbucket, Git, OneDrive, Dropbox. We are actually creating a pipeline. But in certain cases, you have to manually sync it, whereas in some cases, it is going to automatically sync. Like if I'm not wrong, in GitHub, if you have the site, automatically it will sync into Azure portal. You push it into GitHub, you can go and configure GitHub in such a way that automatically the content will get pulled from GitHub into your local account. In your web app. This you have to take care of. So try one by one all these options. But these are the common ways of publishing a website into Azure Web App Service.